Yesterday, behind closed doors at Davos, the IMF quietly dropped a bombshell. They're calling it the most dangerous financial environment in over 80 years, but most people won't hear this until it's too late. Mortgage rates are spiking, grocery prices are squeezing families, entire tech companies are laying off thousands overnight. But what if this crisis could actually be the greatest opportunity of our lifetime? Because history tells us something powerful. Every big downturn has come right before a massive economic boom. We've seen this before. In 1945, in 1974, in 2008, and in 2020. In every one of those moments, the people who understood what was happening didn't just survive, they came out ahead. Right now, the same early warning signs are flashing again, and in the next few minutes, I'll show you what to watch for and how to turn this chaos into your advantage, just like the world's smartest investors do. But first, you need to understand why this moment is much bigger than what the headlines are telling you. To understand what's about to happen, we need to take a step back in time. Because the warning we just received is nearly identical to what came before the world's biggest economic collapses. After World War II, inflation soared past 13%. Why? Because millions of people returned home to a broken global economy. Factories couldn't meet demand, supplies were low, and governments were printing money faster than ever. Sound familiar?
Today we're living through a different kind of war, a war on the global economy.
Lockdowns froze supply chains. Central banks printed more than $25 trillion in just 2 years.
Now the hangover is here. Prices are out of control. Mortgage payments have doubled, but wages? They barely moved.
You are poorer. And when people stop spending, businesses stop earning. Profits fall, stocks crash, and layoffs begin. We've seen this before. In 1974, oil prices tripled almost overnight. It triggered one of the fastest recessions in modern history. The stock market lost 50% of its value in just 4 months. And here's the part most people don't realize. Today's economic warning signs are nearly identical. Oil prices are rising, interest rates are climbing, consumer confidence is falling, and the bond market, one of the most accurate predictors of recession, is flashing red. This isn't fear-mongering. It's a signal. Because in every financial collapse, there were people who lost everything. But there were also people who saw it coming and used it to build life-changing wealth. In the next 2 minutes, I'll show you exactly what to do, what to buy, what to avoid, and the assets the wealthiest are already moving into right now. Get ready. The next chapter starts now. Step 1. Know the system is built to devalue your money. You see, the moment central banks start printing money, and yes, they will print again, the value of your dollars drops, slowly at first, then all at once. One more move, people. Actually, it's not as such true. This isn't a glitch, it's how the system works. It's not a Nat to Carmensign universe inside of National Adjuster. Step 1, it's called currency debasement, and it's been happening for over 100 years. Even, of course, will stand related to a same one-room American National Adjuster with use today's will use the systems to value your money. This is why the wealthy don't hold cash. They hold scarce assets, assets that governments can't just create more of. Step 2. Move into scarce, inflation-resistant assets. Every time the Fed hits print, the rich get richer by owning the right things. After the 2008 crash, the stock market surged over 400%. Real estate doubled, gold spiked, and crypto? It didn't just rise, it created a new class of millionaires, almost overnight. So the trick isn't to fear inflation, It's to own the things that inflation pushes higher.
Proof from history. Real people, real results. Warren Buffett started buying during the panic of 1974 when everyone else was selling. Ray Dalio predicted the 2008 collapse and turned it into billions. Jeff Bezos, he lost 90% in the dot-com bust, then turned Amazon into a trillion-dollar empire. They all understood the same simple truth. Crashes don't destroy wealth, fear does.
So, what should you be doing right now? In the next section, I'll show you exactly that. You'll discover which assets the smart money is quietly buying behind the scenes, how to identify your own financial danger zones before it's too late, and how to position yourself to profit from the rebound, not just survive the storm. Coming up, the crisis blueprint. Part 3. The crisis blueprint. If you want to survive what's coming and come out stronger on the other side, you don't need more hustle. You need a battle plan. Not guesses, not luck, a clear, tested strategy. This is it. The 5-part crisis blueprint the wealthy quietly follow every time the economy breaks down. When currencies lose value, money flows into scarcity. That means things the government can't just print more of. Gold, Bitcoin, farmland, valuable real estate, and strong companies with pricing power. In the 1940s, the dollar dropped, and the stock market rose 900%. In the 70s, gold surged 2,300%. After 2008, Bitcoin exploded by 20 million %. Scarcity wins when the system shakes. Blueprint Step 3. Build cash flow, not just net worth. Net worth looks good on paper until it crashes. That's why the wealthy build cash flow, money that shows up month after month. Rental income, dividend stocks, online businesses that don't rely on physical space. Cash flow gives you something most people lose during a recession: freedom to act. Print Step 2. Get out of fake growth before it crashes. Not everything will survive the reset. Companies with no profits, hype coins, overvalued tech, these were built on cheap money, and cheap money is gone. Wealth doesn't disappear, it just moves, from the unprepared to the strategic. Secondly, Blueprint Step 4. Use debt like a tool, not a trap. Most people drown in debt. The wealthy use it like a tool. In a high-rate environment, the kind of debt you hold can either destroy you or put you in a position to win. Bad debt equals vulnerable. Smart debt equals leverage. Know the difference. Master the timing. Blueprint Step 5. Move before the headlines. By the time the news says recession, the real money has already moved. Smart investors don't wait for headlines. They follow signals. Bond markets, credit trends, supply chain data, insider buying. They see the shift before the rest of the world catches on, and by the time others feel the pain, they're already positioned for the rebound. Part 4. The myths that keep people broke. Most people won't survive what's coming, not because they're lazy, not because they're dumb, but because they believe things that simply aren't true. Let's break down the 3 biggest lies that keep people broke during a crash. Myth number 1. Saving cash is safe. Visual. Man hides cash under a mattress. Time passes. That cash buys less and less. They told you save your money, stack it, play it safe. This isn't about panic. It's about pattern recognition. The signs are here. The playbook is clear. History's whispering the same message again. The question isn't what happens next. The question is, will you be ready? But in a world where prices keep rising, saving cash is like pouring water into a leaking bucket. If inflation is 8% and your savings give you 1%, you're not growing. You're shrinking. Visual, side-by-side example. $10,000 in 2020 equals $7,300 in 2025. The rich don't just save money, they use money. There's a big difference between holding cash and positioning cash. Myth number 2, the market always recovers, I'll just wait. Investor stares at falling charts. .com crash, 2008 crash, Terra Luna collapse. Waiting through crash with no plan? That's not patience, that's standing in a burning house. Not every company comes back. Not every investment bounces. Kodak didn't recover, Blockbuster didn't recover, and a lot of portfolios never did either. Survival isn't about waiting. It's about moving, getting out of danger before the fall, and getting into opportunity before the rise. You just need to stop playing a game that's rigged against you. These myths don't just hold people back, they keep entire families stuck for generations. But now that you see the truth, you can start playing the game differently. Not someday, not later, now. Coming up, the Recession Playbook. Part 5, the Recession Playbook. 3 wealth moves you can make this week. Serious, let's be honest. If you're still watching and doing nothing, you're already falling behind. If you take action this week, this crisis could become the best money-making opportunity of your life. A Bourbon number, build a crisis-proof emergency stack, not a regular savings account. Seriously, don't just stash your money in a bank earning 1%. That's not safe, it's slow loss. Confidently, here's a smarter way to split your emergency cash. 50% in short-term U.S. Treasury ETFs like the SJUV or BACN, 30% in hard assets like silver or tokenized gold, 20% in stable coins if you're comfortable with crypto. This mix protects you from inflation, bank risk, and gives you instant access when you need it. Most people only have 1 layer. You'll have 3. Move number 2. Learn 1 high-income skill before the layoffs hit. Visual, freelancers, editing video, building AI tools, writing copy, consulting. Massive layoffs are coming, and many jobs won't come back. But 1 high-income, low-overhead skill can 5x or even 10x your income, fast. Pick 1 and go deep. Video editing, AI prompt engineering, copywriting or ghostwriting for CEOs, coding or automation, YouTube content repurposing. Most of these skills are free to learn online, and in 90 days, they can change your life. You don't need a degree, you need momentum. Move number 3. Buy scarcity while it's cheap, before the herd comes back. Every crash creates panic, and panic creates discounts. This is when smart investors move quietly, before the headlines flip. Fractional real estate through platforms like Fundrise, crypto like ETH and BTC, when prices drop, not pump. Dividend-paying stocks in essential sectors, think Apple, Costco, P&G. The key? Don't chase hype. Buy value while it's being ignored. What's cheap now could be priceless in just a few years. Most people will watch this and change nothing.
You're watching this because you know something's coming, and you're ready to move while others wait. Coming up, how the 1940s collapse turned into the biggest boom in history, and why it's about to repeat.
Part 6, the recession pattern, how every collapse creates new wealth. You've heard the phrase, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. The truth? It doesn't just rhyme, it sings the same song, over and over again. And right now, the next verse is already playing. Proof number 1, the 1940s, war, collapse, and a 900% boom. After World War II, the world was in pieces. Prices were out of control, supply chains were broken, and the recession hit hard. But people who held real assets, things like land, gold, and property, They didn't just survive, they got rich. From 1942 to 1951, the US stock market grew by 900%. Why? Because the Fed printed money, capped rates, and the economy was rebuilt from the ground up. The crash was the setup, the boom was the reward. Proof number 2. The 1970s, inflation, oil crisis, and millionaire moves. The media, 1974, inflation exploded, oil tripled, stocks crashed 50%. Sound familiar? And yet, that's when the smart money made its biggest bets. Warren Buffett was buying top-tier companies at a discount. Apple launched during the chaos. Microsoft followed soon after. The media told everyone to panic. The wealthy, they got into position. Translated number 3, the 2008 crash and the rise of billion-dollar ideas. Housing crisis, stock collapse. Airbnb, Bitcoin, Uber. 2008, the worst crash since the Great Depression. People lost homes. Banks collapsed. Fear took over. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. People were buying homes for 30 cents on the dollar. Airbnb and Uber were founded. Bitcoin was born. It wasn't the end. It was the reset. And the ones who saw it clearly, they started building what everyone else would need later. This isn't luck. It's not a guess. It's a cycle. Recession, reset, rebuild, repeat. And those who understand this pattern don't fear the storm, they use it. Collapse is a season. Wealth is what you plant in it. The question isn't what's coming. The question is, what will you do about it? Part 7. This is your cycle, not theirs. If you're under 45, this could be the most important wealth window of your entire life. And still, most people will miss it. Why? Because they're playing defense when the economy is quietly begging them to play offense. Recession cycles only come every 15 to 20 years. Big downturns like this don't happen often. They don't just bring problems, they bring massive openings. To buy undervalued assets, to build new income streams, to make life-changing moves while everything is on sale. They come around once every 15 to 20 years. So if you skip this one, your next shot might not come until 2040. By then, you'll be older, you'll have more bills, less time, less energy, and probably a lot more regret. The real risk? It's not doing nothing. It's waiting too long. Most people think they're being safe by waiting, but waiting is the most expensive decision you can make right now. While you sit still, prices keep rising. Your money loses value, and the best chances quietly disappear. Because once the Fed cuts rates and the market takes off again, that door slams shut. And those who were ready, they're already riding the wave. Everyone else is left watching from the sidelines. You don't need to time the market. You need to time your mindset. Momentum tease. Set up the next section. In 60 seconds, I'm going to show you exactly what I'd do if I were 25, 35, or 45, starting from scratch to build unstoppable financial leverage over the next 36 months. But first, you need to understand one more truth. It's not just inflation, interest rates, or recession cycles. There's something much deeper driving this shift. Part 8. Final shift. Crisis to action. Every economic cycle moves in stages. And once you know where you are in that cycle, all changes. All changes actions, the stages are simple. Fear, freeze, pivot, prosper. Pivot is the turning point. You shift your mindset. You take small steps. You reposition. Prosper is the reward, the outcome of smart action taken at the right time. Every investor, every entrepreneur, every career shift follows the same rhythm. The difference? Some people stay frozen, while others learn how to pivot. Here's the truth. You don't need to sprint. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to know your stage and move intelligently. If you're still in fear or freeze, that's okay, but don't stay there. When you pivot, even a little, the entire map changes. And once you do, prosperity isn't just possible, it becomes predictable. Practical tool to make the shift. I've built a free downloadable tool called the Crisis to Opportunity Playbook. It's a simple fill-in-the-blank template designed to help you identify your current stage, clarify your next step, apply this entire framework to your money, career, or business. It's waiting for you below. Just check the description and download it. And if this hit home for you, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell, because in the next video, we're diving into real-world moves, which sectors are already bouncing back, and how to catch the wave early. Level up your money mindset. Hit subscribe and turn your IQ into return on investment. This is Investor IQ. Smart moves start here.